So anyway, I wanted to start this out by telling y'all about something that I saw on Facebook earlier today. On Facebook, I saw a what do you call it, a meme. And on the meme, they basically did a survey. And on the survey, they was like, "Yo, if a man makes 60,000, or if a man makes 40,000, and a woman makes 100,000, who's the head of the household?" Uh, it was crazy because I thought there would be a lot of 50-50s. I thought a lot of people would say 50-50. I guess I'm naive in that respect. I thought a lot of people would say 50-50, but the vast majority of the people on the survey said the woman is the head of the household. So the survey says, who's the head of the household if the woman makes 100 grand and the man makes 40? Mostly everybody goes the woman. She's the head of the household. And I thought about this and I was like, this is one of the major issues that we actually have as far as couples go in our society. Because so many people have been taught, and it's not just women being taught by women, people being taught this by other men too. Like a lot of women being taught this by their fathers, grandfathers, a lot of old school dudes who come from a time period when how much money you made was directly tied to the level of work and effort that you put in to whatever it is you did. When nowadays it's a little bit more complicated than that. It really kind of always has been, but it's even more complicated than that nowadays. And now women work too. So the thing about the meme that and the way that people responded to it, I thought about was like, how does that work where you basically say, we're going to have a head of the household, and that is going to be established by who makes the most money? How do you work that when finances and the economy and job demand is in ebb and flow? How does that determine who is supposed to be in charge or the head of the household in a home? I'm gonna give y'all a scenario. So marriage is supposed to be till death do us part, right? That's what people trying to do. Like, yo, we gonna be together forever. That's what people say. We're gonna be together forever, right? So you get into a relationship with a guy. A lot of these women, okay, that said, hey, the woman that makes the most money is the head of the household. So you get in a relationship with a guy. You're basing the fact that you're head of the household on the fact that you make the most money. So let's just say, since it's supposed to be till death do us part, you guys got together in 1995. And in 1995, you worked for a really great printer. And you guys printed for local papers and stuff like that. And you were making six figures plus working for this local printer. Now, it's all going good for you. You get the regional gig, y'all start getting more contracts and stuff like that. Bang, you killing it. You 100,000 plus 200,000, all of that. And say the guy that you're with, you get together in 1995, and he is working on computers and he is mastering coding. He's doing this independently, mastering coding. Now, I'm sure you can kind of get an idea here. Fast forward, it's 2010. Your career has all but vanished because obviously papers are closing all over the world. And only the major papers are even sticking around, and even they're not printing as much as they used to. And the money's tight in your profession, right? So by the time 2021 comes around, your profession is all but dead and the money you're making is all but gone. He, on the other hand, is killing it because he's coding, and he's been coding and mastering coding since 95. So he's writing his own ticket. He's probably making, far more, at least double what you used to be making. And he's probably making 10, 15 times more than what you're making currently, if you even have a job. So what happens now in that relationship? So the day he brings home that big check and your check is real little, you bring home that skeet ass little $2,500 and he brings home 25 grand, is that when the dynamic changes now? He's like, okay, now I'm head of the household. Remember, you said I couldn't be head of the household because I wasn't making enough money. So now I'm head of the household because I'm making the 25 grand and you making 2,500. Is that how it's gonna work? When you've gotten used to a particular lifestyle, you've gotten used to managing money a certain way, you've gotten used to calling all the shots, that's unrealistic. Even though it would make sense according to the guidelines that you already created in a relationship, it's not going to make sense in your head because you're going to say, wait a minute, I'm still earning my own money. I'm still working. I'm still doing what I need to do. And I've been in charge of these things throughout the entire relationship. How can you treat me differently because my job has changed? It's not like I'm not working as hard. It's the fact that the market is different. Well, that's how you entered into a relationship, saying, here's what the traditional role would be as a man. I'm not going to give you that, not because of anything you actually did, but just because of the fact that I think that the fact that I make more money gives me the right to be in that position. You don't earn it. You haven't earned it because you don't have enough money. If you act like that and that's what you start off with, where do you go from there? Because now it's going to feel like a real kick in the stomach when you start making less money, your career kind of goes sideways through no fault of your own. And now the person that you are in a relationship with is basically saying, hey, your job title went down, your money went down. So now your status in this relationship has completely changed. Now you're in a totally different position. How does your relationship last through that? So that's a problem that we have when we deal with relationships anyway. That's a problem that we have because so much of it is based on the superficial. So much of it is based on here, if this, then. So much of it is based on you don't get the perks of being in a relationship. You don't get in the reverse. You don't get in the things that you're supposed to get from a relationship unless you have a certain level of accomplishment. If that's the case, why even get with the person in the first place? It's funny how people will get in a relationship with somebody and say, here's what you deserve because of where you are, but we should still go ahead and be together. So I want to put this on women too out here. A lot of you women will agree with that and say, well, yeah, you can't be the head of the household because you don't make as much money as I do. Okay. So what if he says, I don't feel like I should have to support you even though I got money because you're too heavy? Oh, he took something he cared about. You took something you cared about. You said, oh, well, I care about who makes the most money. He might have said, well, you got to be a size 6 for me to be able to take care of you. Oh, well, you need to go downstairs when that burglar comes in because you're heavier than I am. You're bigger than me. Go downstairs and go take care of that. Now you feel disrespected. Now you feel like what how could you say I don't deserve to be protected because I'm bigger than you? How could you say I don't deserve to be protected because of my weight? How can you say, like, why would you be in a relationship with me if you don't feel like you should protect me? Well, I mean, you just said that a person's status or where a person is are things that exist in the superficial and the outside control where they are in the relationship and how they get treated in a relationship. Unfortunately, this is constantly reinforced by people. This is constantly reinforced by our society. So now everybody does it to each other. You get into a relationship with a person and they got all kind of reasons why they shouldn't have to do whatever their traditional responsibility would be, but they want to get the traditional responsibility in return. So you got people who's like, oh, well, you got a body count. So why should I have to be in a situation where I provide for you when you already slept with somebody else before you even met me? I shouldn't have to go through all this different stuff. I shouldn't have to jump through all these hoops when you already slept with other dudes. The girl might be sitting there saying, oh, well, you don't have as much money as I do. So why should I have to cook for you? Or why should I have to, I don't know, why should I have to listen to anything you have to say? Why should I have to put you in this position where I would traditionally want to put my man? So it leaves us with nothing. That's where relationships usually end up, where you got two people just floating around in a relationship, being independent and almost rooting against one another. When you're in a relationship like that, where everything is based on what one party has and what another party doesn't have, then you're almost rooting against each other. You're almost in competition with each other, because everything in your relationship is based on who has and who doesn't. Everything in the relationship is based on that. So I think this becomes the foundation of where we have so many issues, because of the individualism that we bring into relationships.
Pops, I'm hurt. She done left me, man. What you think I should do? Boy, back in my day, all you had to do was go to her job and you cry and you get down on your knees. You beg and plead for her sympathy. I'm telling you, boy, that's all you gotta do. Pops, you talking about stalking her. That's a crime now.
Yo, it's your man, Chaz Ellis. And I know y'all tired of getting the same old 1965 game that never works. Well, click the link below and check out 9 ways to get your ex back. This is cold-hearted game where I give you different techniques to turn the tables on your ex and get them chasing you for a change.